I just wanted to go through the pre-order for Samsung, what they got going on. I did it yesterday before we ended up even finding out exactly like all the little details. I was under embargo, so I didn't know much. But let's kind of just talk about it. If you haven't done the pre-order, basically what happens is you get the phone for a really good deal, like good trade-in offers, you get free credits, and you end up also getting the phone right when it comes out, among other things as well. So I wanted to talk about those things. So you can see over to the right, the next generation evolution of Galaxy AI, reserve now and get $50 Samsung credit, which is what I mentioned yesterday. You can use those credits at the time of purchase when you're buying accessories and things like that. So like you buy the Galaxy S25 Ultra, for instance, or 25 Plus or 25, and then you can also get $50 to use towards like a watch, earbuds, a case, a battery, a wireless charger, because they have new wireless chargers, stuff like that. You're going to get up to $1,250 in additional savings. Usually that means trade-ins. Now, if that's the case, if they end up giving, I don't think they'll give $1,250 for a single phone, but like they're going to do something crazy. So that obviously means we're going to get amazing trade-in offers, like what we're expecting, maybe a little bit more, which would be awesome. A chance to win $5,000 Samsung credit. So it's one winner, but you do this pre-order. You don't have to buy anything, obviously. You can just do the pre-order, and you're entered in for a chance to win $5,000. There's a little checkbox at the bottom when you're signing up, when you click my link below, and it'll bring you fill out your information, and then there's a little checkbox, and you're pretty much good to go. So enhanced trade-in values, you can see that kind of below where my picture is. Samsung.com exclusive colors. You've got the carrier plans and promotion. So if your carrier has some like amazing deal going on, you'll be able to take advantage of it all through the Samsung.com portal. You can pick it up in store. So you can pick it up. I know you can pick them up at Best Buy. I don't know if you can pick them up at the carrier. You guys can tell me in the comments down below. I know you can. Like with Samsung, you can pick it up at I believe a Samsung store, definitely at a Best Buy if there's one near you. And also you can just get it delivered. Then you've got the worry-free Samsung Care Plus, which I wonder if they're giving that for free, which they usually don't with these phones, these candy bar phones. That would actually be really cool to just have it for free. Maybe they're throwing it in. Maybe that's part of the additional savings. That's why it's so high. Financing starting at 0% APR. So if you need to finance the phone, you can get it for 0 APR. And then the other thing is January 22nd, they confirmed that is when everything will be happening. Sometimes I like to read this fine print to see if we can see anything in here. It's $50 credit. You can see limited time, limited one trade-in. So it looks like you can only do one trade-in per qualifying purchase. So I know that 1 year they let us do multiple trade-ins. Doesn't look like they're letting us do that this year. Affirm is doing the payment options if you need to finance it. You got a 15-day return policy. And let's see, Samsung's sole discretion to be eligible for trade-in. Talking about the trade-in has to be like basically in good condition to get the full amount. I'm just skimming here, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong because I'm at CES and it's hard to do this. It looks like everything else is pretty much good to go with that. So yeah, I would take advantage of it if I were you guys. Like I said, you have nothing to lose, everything to gain, even if you're kind of on the fence or not on the fence, or you're contemplating, wherever you're sitting, you really have nothing to lose to do this. And you still get those amazing trade-in offers. There's been some new information coming out about the Galaxy S25 Ultra, and I wanted to go through it with you in terms of some of the specs, and I think you'll find it quite interesting. Ahmed has got a fantastic track record of leaking things, usually just before they launch, and we're literally weeks away from the launch of the Galaxy S25 Ultra, and it goes on to say that, there are a couple of things that we definitely want to talk about. So first of all, we're talking about the S25 Ultra having a 6.9-inch display. It's been rumored that. I think I even mentioned it in my last video, so that's not really a huge surprise that it's going to have a 6.9-inch display, but it is something that it is 0.1 inches bigger than the S24 Ultra, so you get a little bit more screen real estate on there. All devices, I was thinking we're going to get 3,000 nits of brightness. It looks like it's staying at 2,600 nits of brightness, which is exactly the same as what we've got since last year, which plenty fine. It would have been great to feel like when you buy a new phone, you're getting a little bit more, but again, it's plenty fine. The anti-reflective display helps a lot with seeing the device outdoors, and the brightness is just, it's top notch. It's still great. Is it the best of any candy bar phone? No, but it's still fantastic. So nothing to be down about, but just something to know that if you are upgrading, it's not being upgraded. S25, gonna have that 6.2 inch full HD plus display, 4,000 milliamp, 25 watt charging. They're not getting any increased charging on the wired side. S25 Plus, 6.7 inch QHD plus, 4,900 milliamp, 45 watts. Again, what it had last year. S25 Ultra, QHD plus, 5,000 milliamp, 45 watt charging. Again, same as last year. No change to that. Snapdragon 8 Elite by Samsung, which we knew, and again, not a huge surprise. And then you also get the 12 gigs of RAM on there, which is great. And then you will get the Qi wireless charging too on here, but you're not, which is 25 watt charge, so that'll be improved. And then just to talk about the 12 gigabytes of RAM, that's the base on all three phones. But then the Ultra will have 16 gigs of RAM on some of the higher storage allotments. So you still will get 16 gigs of RAM. It's not gone. It's just base right there. Other than that, that's kind of what we're looking at for the S25 Ultra in terms of some finalized specs, some things that we thought might have changed that didn't. But again, it's still going to be a fantastic phone. It'll probably still be the best phone rated by a lot of other people in the world, even though it didn't change all that much. And the first story today has to do with Bixby AI playing a really integral part in Galaxy AI. And I hope you like having all this AI in there, because this is going to be even more so in. And then you also have Gemini. So check this out. The information that's coming out from Mice Universe is saying that last year he told us clearly the Galaxy AI has nothing to do with Bixby, but this year he'll tell us that clearly that the new Bixby will become the core of Galaxy AI, believe it or not. So when we use Galaxy AI, they're going to make it, or they cover it in Bixby isms. I would assume you're going to see a lot of Bixby wording in the description of what Galaxy AI does for us. Now, I assume that they're probably just piggybacking off of what Google does, or maybe this is all new stuff that they're making, but generally a lot of these models of AI, I feel like are just piggybacking off other companies. But the idea of giving us more AI features and AI interactivity and hopefully making the usage of the phone easier, not more complicated, will actually make sense. And it makes sense also that they want to use Bixby. The reason being is when you buy a phone, if all you use is Gemini AI, you can use that on every single Android phone. So to create a little distinction in your product, Samsung using Bixby AI makes sense, even if they call it Galaxy AI. And if it has different features or different feel or works faster, whatever the good parts of it are, to create that brand identity with Samsung Galaxy products is a good thing for them overall, especially if it's a positive experience for the consumer. Now, this is very interesting news. The Galaxy S25 Slim, remember, this is the slimmest version of the Galaxy S25 line. You're still gonna get the S25, 25 Plus, and S25 Ultra at launch. It's gonna launch on the 22nd. There's heavy rumors, and obviously I think that this benchmark also shows that they're gonna launch the S25 Slim on January 22nd as well. They might not have it released at the same time as those other phones, but if it's not, it should be released shortly thereafter. But the reason I bring up obviously the benchmarks, which look amazing with the Snapdragon 8 Elite and then 12 gigs of RAM, is that putting in your reservation for this phone, which I have linked down below, allows you to get a place in line, get reminded, get a $50 credit, get entered into a $5,000 Samsung giveaway, and also puts you into the tier of getting the best trade-in values and offers that Samsung has to offer. Now, they're gonna give, I would assume, these phones an $800 to $1,000 trade-in, and then based off the small print, it might even also give us a 1 or 2 years of Samsung Care Plus. Based on that, might
that's a little fuzzy, so don't go with that last part as written in gospel. And you have nothing to lose though by going through the reservation. Like I've said, you're gonna get locked into or put in place, and you don't have to buy anything. You just get put into place if you want to buy it and get all those great deals that they're going to offer with this. And this phone is supposed to be, it should be the thinnest, the lightest Galaxy S25 of them all. Maybe not as light as S25, but somewhere definitely a lot less than the S25 Ultra, and slimmer too as well. So it might be very interesting for you to get that potentially 6.6-inch display. I'm holding up the S Pen on the Galaxy S24 Ultra because a lot of people love using the S Pen on here. Now, one of the things that you might want to be able to do is be able to control your phone with your S Pen, doing air gestures, using the button on here to take pictures remotely. Those are just a couple of the things that you can do with this when it's not inside of the phone. But it looks like that's going to change with the launch of the Galaxy S25 Ultra. The latest information coming out from Ishan Agarwal is that the Galaxy S25 Ultra, and we've kind of heard about this, so it's not completely a shock, will not feature Bluetooth according to retail sources. So again, no Bluetooth in the S Pen on the S25 Ultra, which means you will lose certain features like gestures and remote control. Now, if that's a huge deal to you, you might not want to switch over to the Galaxy S20 from the S24 Ultra, or even an older phone to the S25 Ultra. Now, if it's not a big deal and you just like to write on your phone with your S Pen, and you don't need to have those remote features of pressing or tapping or doing air gestures, which the only thing I would take from that would be the button to take photos and things like that. I don't care about the air gestures, but there's workarounds for that. With the phone, you can say shoot or capture. You can tell, especially if you have the camera open, you can do like a palm. I find those probably a little bit more helpful potentially. So something to know, that if you do upgrade to the S25 Ultra, the Bluetooth pen is not going to be a Bluetooth pen. It's just gonna be a regular S Pen with no Bluetooth built into it, akin to what you get with their Tab series. Continuing on with the S25 series, I wanted to talk about the size differences in terms of weight, what you're gonna get, and this is a good thing. They're all getting lighter. So let's talk about that. So the latest information that's coming out about the S25 series is that they're all lighter than the 23 and 24 series. If you get the 25, it's 8 grams lighter. If you get the 25 Plus, it's 6 grams lighter. Or if you get the 25 Ultra, it's a massive 15 to 16 grams lighter across the board, which is, those are good drops. It's always nice when you can get a thinner, lighter phone, but get basically the same phone and improved in areas as well. Like, that just makes sense to me and is a good thing overall. So it is we'll end that on a positive note of having a lighter phone, and then also just getting a better phone at that. You're gonna have that Snapdragon 8 Elite in there. And if you wanna do the reservation, it's linked down below, and you're gonna be put in line. You're not locked into anything in terms of having to buy anything. You just take your place in line. You're gonna get up to $1,250 in savings, entered into a $5,000 Samsung sweepstakes, and then also you're also going to get $50 in credit that you can use on a watch or a tablet, I guess, yeah. Earbuds, things like that when you purchase the S25 phone. We're gonna start this off with the Galaxy Z Fold 7. We heard recently that it's going to maybe not change at all versus what the Galaxy Z Fold 6 and 5 and 4 pretty much look like in terms of display sizes. Well, if you remember back, Ross Young said it wouldn't be like that, and he reiterated again recently in a reply to someone on Twitter saying that it will change, because they were asking questions about the Z Fold 7 and all of that, and he said Z Fold 7 will of course launch in July around 8 inches, and he's talking about that main display, and that's what we've been hearing, at least from him. So he's keeping that same story, and it looks like it should launch with 8 inches. He covers and goes into the depths of displays, have them be, if they're gonna use OLED or micro or mini LED, and not just Samsung, like everybody. And he usually has an inside track of what companies are gonna do with certain displays. Are they gonna use curved ones or trifold ones or something else within there? And he's got seriously, he's not perfect, but he's nearly perfect in a lot of ways in terms of his track record. So you got to look at this and be like, okay, if he's reiterating again and we're 8 months, 7 months away from this, he's probably right. So 8-inch, if you had questions or worries that they're not going to increase the size of the Z Fold 7, it looks like they most likely are. Now let's use Ross Young again and let's talk about tri-folding phones, because I think this is where I know I'm gaining a lot more excitement and a lot more intrigue. I know you guys are too, at least some of you are very intrigued at the very least of a tri-folding phone, especially from Samsung. We've gotten it from Huawei, and we want to see it here in the Western world where we can buy it. And it looks like it's going to be absolutely massive when Samsung puts this out. The latest information is that Samsung is going to launch a 10-inch tablet or phone, whatever, saying that, have you heard anything about the new tri-fold from Samsung in the G-shaped form, inward outward folding? And he said yes, 9.96 inches, both sides fold in, announcement likely in Q1 of 2026. Now, we got to think about that. That's literally 1 year away. So it looks like we won't have any potential crazy forms in terms of difference looking of the phones. We'll have the regular slab phones, we'll have the folding phones, but it looks like 2025 probably won't bring with it any tri-fold phones. And we were hoping, or at least it seemed like we might, but it looks like Q1 2026 might do that based off what he's saying. Now, 9.96 inches, it could potentially look like something like we've been seeing on the screen here for a little bit here. This is just not even really a prototype. It's something showing off what they could do. I don't think it's gonna look like this. It'll probably be more sexy, more slender, better looking overall. I don't think we're gonna get this exact look of what this is. This is a Samsung G-shaped form, something they showed off last year at 2023 CES. But with that said, it's something to be like, okay, it might look like this. And then at that, what's the form factor? Is it a tablet? Is it a phone? Is it both? And I definitely hope more it's a phone than a tablet, because with a phone, you could do this on a tablet, let's be honest too, but they aren't fully made the same. Making phone calls, texts, using it like a regular phone, carrying it around so it fits in your pocket. And obviously, even if this is a tablet, you could probably still fit it in your pocket, even at 10 inches, because it will fold up into something a lot smaller and give you some functionality. So I think it'll end up being a phone, especially because the Huawei Mate, was it XTS or XT, is as well. So I think this will end up being a phone, but 2026 could be a crazy year. 2025 even with Samsung could be crazier. You're thinking about they're gonna have their new glasses that they're gonna end up putting out, potentially another kind of headset as well. This would maybe be the year of headsets rather than new form factors of phones and tablets. And then next year would be the new phones and tablets. So some things to look forward to. Today's video is all about the Galaxy S25 Plus and the differences or the reasons really to upgrade from the S24 Plus. As you can see, there's not a whole hell of a lot here going on, but I did want to go through it and discuss what we may see as well. So S25 Plus, Snapdragon 8 Elite would probably be the biggest reason to go to the S25 Plus from any other phone that they have. The reason being, it's not like the other phones don't perform well or that they are just struggling to perform. This is going to take it to another level. 45 up to 45% increases in gaming and just overall performance. It should be better with consumption of the battery, and you should just see better day-to-day operation of it in terms of smoothness. All of that should be improved. Will it be hugely noticeable? Probably not. At least when if you're just holding one phone or the other, or even if you're having them side by side, you probably won't notice a huge difference, but there will be somewhat of a difference. And it's one of the bigger reasons, like I said, to upgrade performance and probably better battery life, or the way that it handles the battery life. This one, the S25 Plus, is lighter by 6 grams. Now, it's always great when things are lighter and thinner, and that's what you're getting on both of these categories. 0.4 millimeters thinner, so not a whole hell of a lot lighter or thinner, but definitely lighter and thinner than the previous generation of this phone, while also throwing at you more power with that Snapdragon 8 Elite. So you can see kind of where we're going. Very minimal changes, but changes at the least in terms of getting something that's thinner and lighter and more powerful. 25 watt wireless charging. It should be Qi 2 wireless charging inside the S25 Plus. That's up from the 15 watt wireless charging that you get with basically every phone in existence of the S line. Not every phone, but a lot of the phones in the last 5 years or so with the S25 Plus. So faster wireless charging. So if you're a big wireless charger fan, you'll be able to do that. Now you got to consider that in order to get those 25 watt charging speeds, you will have to buy a compatible 25 watt Qi 2 wireless charger. You can't just use your same one and expect to get those increases in speed. You won't. You have to buy one. It's going to have to be Qi 2 certified. So you can get it from Amazon most likely, or Best Buy, or Samsung. I would have guessed that Samsung are probably going to end up selling out unless you order right at the time of pre-order, which, speaking of pre-orders, you can lock in your reservation right now and get $50 in credit, up to $1,250 in savings, and also a $5,000 sweepstakes entrance just by preparing your reservation at the link down below, and it supports what I do at the same time. If you love the channel, it's a great way to support the site again and get a great deal. But continuing on with it, Wi-Fi 7. Now, Wi-Fi 7 reportedly was in the S24 series of phones, but they disabled it for some reason because Exynos couldn't do it at the time, and that was international, so they bumped it down to Wi-Fi 6E. Wi-Fi 7 should be across the board on all three versions of the phone, including S25 Plus, meaning you'll get slightly faster Wi-Fi speeds at your home. Again, if you have a Wi-Fi 7 compatible router. If you don't, it's gonna feel a lot of the same, which if it was slow, it's gonna be slow. If it's fast, it should be fast. Regardless, it's a newer technology. Most people don't have it. It's very expensive. Even when I reviewed a Wi-Fi 7 router, I think it was like a year or two ago, that router's like over $1,000. And it's great, but it's over $1,000. Most people don't want to spend that much on a router. And I know you can get cheaper Wi-Fi 7 routers, but they're crazy expensive. One UI 7. Now, okay, you're gonna say, well, it's already in beta on the S24 Plus. Totally true, but it's not launched with it. So this phone will launch with it, and I don't think it'll be on the S24 by the time it hits the S25 Plus, meaning that S25 Plus will get it first, S24 Plus will get it weeks or a month later than the S25 Plus. So I love Wi-Fi One UI 7 because it just feels like a refined phone. It feels like they put some effort in terms of making it feel a little bit different, a little bit smoother. It's just a nice upgrade. It makes you happy, and it's weird to say that about software, but if software makes you happy to be in that existence, then they did their job, and I feel like that with One UI 7. New colors. You'll get some new colors with the S25 Plus, just like you do almost every year. You get some different colors thrown in the mix, and it might be a reason why you want to upgrade. But beyond that, I really had a tough time finding any other reasons really to upgrade. Now, there will be minor things probably that pop up, like some kind of feature that's on there that eventually will come to the S24 Plus, again, kind of like One UI 7. Or there'll probably be, again, some minor technology that's been thrown in this that doesn't make a big difference, but that maybe you think is kind of a big deal. So, you know, not a lot on that table right there, but I think the biggest takeaways from this are faster wireless charging, thinner and lighter, and better performance, better, faster, great with gaming, you know, all that stuff. Those would be the biggest reasons to upgrade to the S25 Plus. Link down below if you want to get your reservation locked in and support the site. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below, and we'll see you guys down the road. Peace.